Hey Who fans, welcome to the Big Blue Box Podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And we're at episode 167.
67!
Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension?
Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
There's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes.
The trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
I am the Doctor!
Great men are forged in fire. It is the privilege of lesser men to light the flame.
I'm the Doctor. This is Rose Tyler. She's my +1. Is that all right?
That would be me. Hello. Surprise.
Boom!
Etc.
I'm the Doctor. Do everything I tell you. Don't ask stupid questions. And don't wander off.
How can you kid this? I don't like the colour.
Howdy do, Who fans. Hope you've all had a cracking week and that you've managed to do something Doctor Who related.
Yay!
We're almost getting good at that.
Yeah, almost. You think people answer when they're listening? They think, well, actually, yes, I have. We've already moved on.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, 167 is upon us.
Yes, it is.
We're out of Revisits month. We're into normal stuff.
Yeah.
It was great doing Revisits month, by the way.
I enjoyed that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
Some great stories. Some interesting thoughts and views and trivia and all that stuff as well.
Yeah, and the one I like doing all of them actually, but the McGann movie one proved to be quite interesting with some of the feedback from listeners, didn't it? Like in terms of how divisive it is. But I think one thing everyone agreed on was how magnificent the TARDIS interior is in that. I think people who went back and rewatched it to follow along with the podcast for saying, I'd forgotten how gorgeous the interior is and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that was quite cool. I enjoyed that.
Very cool.
Yeah. Must just say, I love it when our listeners watch along with us. Like I see that more and more often, and I love it. You must notice it. People saying, I'm just watching this episode for the podcast this week, and I love it. I feel like we're all watching it together.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool. I've noticed it more and more.
Yes, me too. Yes. Yeah. So it's really cool on Twitter to see that where, like you say, and also it's really cool when somebody says, I've just picked up X story because you guys have just reviewed it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Especially the classic stuff, because even though Doctor Who is popular as it is, it's still the classic stuff that people say, I'm not sure about, or, I don't know where to start, or it's not my cup of tea, or something like that. So if we've nudged people over that line to go and pick up a classic Who, and then that starts their journey into all the classics, and that's a good thing as well. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and I've noticed, like you said, I've noticed that quite a bit as well. People say, I thought I'd give that a go, and this is good, and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Nice little community we got going on out there. I like it.
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming up today, we have the usual news, one bit of merch, and then we're on to our review of, seeing as the podcast is going to go out at the 1st of December, I guess we can sort of get away with doing it as we're doing the Christmas special. So
yeah, true. Yeah.
Your Voyage of the Damned.
Kylie.
I only watched it this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, for the first time in like a couple of years or something.
Yeah, I watched it last night. Do you know what? It's probably been quite a long time since I've watched it. I can't even remember when I last put it on. Because I actually dug out an old DVD of it, funny enough, because I wanted to take a picture of it for the Facebook post. I thought, I'll dig out the original issue. It'd be more interesting than like the Blu-ray cover sort of thing. And because I dug it out, I thought, I'll just watch it. I suppose it is. I mean, it is Christmassy, but it didn't make me feel. It didn't feel out of place watching it last night. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't sat there thinking, oh God, loads of Christmas, snowmen or killer Santas or any of that. It's fairly standalone. So
that's true.
It didn't feel weird watching it last night.
That's true. I didn't really. We'll come on to it anyway, but it doesn't feel like a Christmas one. This one really, but yes. Anyway, you've been up to anything exciting? Anything Doctor Who related?
Anything Doctor Who related? Not massively, no. I mean, I am quite excited because I've just come home, literally, about 10 minutes ago, and there was a big Finish pass away for me, which is always lovely to come home to. And it was the 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 2, the one with Rose Tyler. So that's nice. So I had to quickly open that before we kicked off because I just wanted to have a look and check it wasn't battered or crushed through the letterbox. Has yours arrived yet? Because you pre-ordered it, didn't you?
What's that? The
10th Doctor Adventures, the Billy Piper ones.
Oh, no, I did pre-order it, but digitally, mate.
Oh, you've gone digitised, have you?
Yes, as we know, over the past year, I've gone more digital, yes.
Okay. Well, I ordered the limited sort of book, what do we call it? Coffee table book format. So, yeah, you won't want to hear how lovely the packaging is then. Because it is. It's lovely. It's really nice. I had a quick butchers before we kicked off. Yeah, it's nice. But I obviously, it's literally just arrived, so I haven't listened to any of it yet. But I know people who have, right. And the word on the street is that it's really good, and that they've kind of, whereas the first set, and I think we said this when we reviewed it, whereas the first set they played it quite safe, this time they've sort of mixed it up a bit, and it's a bit more gritty and adventurous. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into that actually. So I'll probably listen to a bit of that when I'm away on my holes. Sounds like perfect traveling listening material. So yeah.
Sweet.
So you've got the download, but I assume you haven't listened to any yet.
I have. I've listened to the first story.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Are you giving your thought? Because we might review, I don't know, are we reviewing, because we reviewed the first set, or are you going to give something away?
Well, yeah, I think we should review this one because only to sort of satisfy our OCD, because we reviewed the first volume.
I was thinking that.
We should do the second one. But yeah, not giving too much away. It's, no, I'm not going to say anything. No,
okay.
No.
Big build up there. Yeah, the listeners are on the edge of their seats right there, and they've just fallen off.
And then snatched it away, yeah. It's interesting that these 10th Doctor ones are only 3 parts as well. That's
aren't they?
They're quite weird. It's weird, isn't it? It's 3 stories per volume. So, same price, but as a 4-parter, but 3 parts.
I see. All right.
You pay that for Mr. Tennant, I suppose.
Yeah, Mr. T. Mr.
T.
So apart from that, I haven't really been up to much. I'm very excited because we've got Sharda coming this week, haven't we? This weekend we shall be attending the BFI Sharda event, which is, can't believe that's come around so quick, but I'm really excited about that. There was a bit of news on it, wasn't there? A little surprise that Mr. Baker has filmed the ending, or has filmed a scene at the end.
That's right.
Of it, which is fantastic, absolutely amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that. One thing I'm not sure why, but they've gone to immense trouble to get detailing right for the TARDIS console, even to the point of like making the rounders look dirty and and all that. So that's fantastic. But then Tom's got completely the wrong coat on, and I'm thinking, oh no, maybe they just didn't have the brown one anymore or something. I don't know.
Probably
I'm not bothered about that though. I'm really excited to see it this weekend, and obviously we'll chat about it next week about our thoughts on it and stuff. But I'm really excited about that. Yes. I'm a little disappointed in the guests. I'm not going to lie to you, because they weren't announced when the tickets went on sale, and I was really hoping at least we'd get Tom or Lala there. But no, it's kind of real. They haven't even got the Cambridge guy there, have they? Because it's kind of like who is there? Is Marquez is there? I mean, Mark's cool. The voice of the computer, I don't even know. The guests are a bit disappointing, I've got to be honest. But at least we'll get to see it on the big screen and stuff, and it will be cool. We get a copy of the DVD included, don't we? So we'll get that when we come out.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
Yeah. Then we're going to go and get absolutely trolleyed in the bar afterwards. So it's going to be a great day. I've already pre-warned my partner. I was like, Saturday, I'm going to watch Doctor Who on a big screen, and then I'm getting drunk, so don't expect me until late. I said, no, it's there. It's already in the bank. That's what's happening.
That's in. I was going to say we need to book a ticket.
That's locked.
Locked in. Yeah. That's
locked in. That is. So there can't be changed. So it's going to be fun.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a fun day. Won't be getting up till midday the next day at the earliest.
Nice one, buddy. So
yeah, that's me. And I know you've got something very cool arrived in the post this week. 'Cause you just showed it to me.
Yes.
Something I haven't ordered, but I really want it.
Yes, it's
Tell what it is.
Yeah, so Forbidden Planet have finally delivered the Doctor
Hooray!
First, the little Doctor First
See,
little figure.
It's great. That's the first time I've seen the actual product, and it's great to see because you couldn't tell from the picture how big he is. He's is he Funko size or just slightly smaller?
Just slightly smaller, yeah. But
it's not a bad size, is he?
He's a decent size, yeah.
Doctor First.
Yes, he's a great little figure, and it's kind of spot on to the style of the Mr. Men, Hargreaves kind of style. Even though you never see these stuff in 3D really, it's always in a cartoon or in a book. But no, they've nailed the. It wasn't too long for Forbidden Planet sending me the figure as well. I was expecting another week before this came, but no, it's really cool. It's an awesome figure. So I'll probably order the others based on this.
Is he quite weighty or quite light?
No, he is quite weighty.
Is he?
Yes, yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
So I think a row of these on the shelf are going to look really nice.
I'm thinking there's something else I need on my shelf. Hang on, I'll just push these books off of it. Let's just clear some room here. Because I think, they look pretty cool. I wonder if we'll get time to sneak in a trip to FP. I doubt it, but we might do. I haven't been for ages.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I might pick him up if we do. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go and mess with those guys in there.
Yeah.
And so that came from FP, so that's all happy with that. Not much else, mate. Listen to the first episode of the 10th Doctor, Volume 2, with old Billy.
Yeah.
And Mr. Tennant. And one thing I will say, though, it's just like the Volume 1 with David Tennant and Catherine Tate. We said that it didn't feel like there was any time between them going from TV. It's like they just leapt straight back into it. It does feel that they've managed. Big Finish have managed to do that with this one as well. So David Tennant and Billy Piper, it's like they've not been away. That's one thing cool. I will say. So the consistency is there. So it's like they've just leapt from series 3 or 4 straight into Big Finish. It's good.
Yeah, it's nice. I remember, when we reviewed the first set, we said about, Catherine Tate's and David Tennant actually very natural to audio, aren't they? They just seem to, really go with it, and they sounded good. Like you said, the chemistry was really good still. So, I'm looking forward to getting into that one.
Yeah.
Giving that a listen.
And also, like you, just getting excited and looking forward to going to the BFI, hooking up with some other Who fans and listeners and watching Charlotte. It's going to be good. Yeah, disappointed Tom's not going to be there. But do you know what? I really thought that what's her face was going to be there.
What's her face?
Her name's escaped me.
Do you mean Lala Ward?
Lala Ward, sorry, yes.
She won't like that. Good job she's not here. She doesn't take any prisoners, mate, let me tell you.
Yes, she's I really expected at least Lala.
Ladies and gentlemen, surprise guest is what's her face?
It's because I had a moment in my head of London Comic Con where she was late coming to the stage, and we were listening to what's his face. And because I thought of that, then her name, you know how it goes.
I know, but the listeners know what we're like with names. We don't need to explain.
There we go.
I hope she'd be there at the very minimum, but I am still hoping that the curtain will roll back and Tom will be there, because he's been on the news talking about it. So he's really sort of put himself out there, which is fantastic. I saw him on the news talking about it. This is the bizarre thing, though. Did you see that all the news, including the BBC, used an illegal version of Sharda animation, the one that Ian Levine did? And how the hell does that happen? So they were sort of interviewing Tom Baker, and then they played in a little clip of what should have been from the new animation, and somehow ITV and BBC One played in Ian Levine's
one,
unofficial / possibly illegal animation. I don't know if it's legal, but you know what I mean, the unofficial, the one that he did many years ago. And how does that even happen? Because BBC Worldwide would have put the press pack together for this thing. Is it somebody else at BBC Worldwide have annoyed that thought they'd get their own back and shove in the wrong clips? I just don't know how these things happen. Because you'd have to go to some length to mix up. Oh yeah, here's the official one that we're giving. What if we get to the BFI on Saturday and it's some pirate copy.
All fuzzy and shaky.
Featuring voices, somebody doing a bad impersonation of Tom Baker. I just find that bizarre. I mean, if one TV station got it wrong, then understandable, but not the BBC themselves, for goodness sake.
Weird. Yeah.
It's weird, mate. Very strange.
Yeah, is that intern again at the BBC, innit?
There seems to be some major issues going on at BBC Worldwide at the minute when it comes to Doctor Who. I don't know what's happening there.
Someone
really
said,
don't.
yeah, we need that Sharda clip, if you don't mind. And the intern's like,
It's probably just Googled Sharda animation, and the first one to come up is obviously Ian Levine. So there it is.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, just Googled Sharda animation, and there you go.
Yeah, very strange.
Very strange. Anyways, shall we land our fair TARDIS and do some news?
Yes, let's do it.
Rightio, first up, new promo image and synopsis dropped a couple of days ago for Twice Upon a Time.
Yes. Looks nice. I'm looking at it now. Lovely promo pic.
It's awesome. And BBC America released the same promo, but just like a sort of animated version of the picture.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
I was excited because I thought, is this a trailer? But no, it's just it's the same picture. They've just sort of animated the three different characters in there. One thing to note, which they seem to be playing on quite heavily, which is carrying through everything to do with Twice Upon a Time, is the regeneration energy that's coming out of the hand of Mr.
Capaldi's hand. Yeah.
So they're definitely playing that up, aren't they? Because they've from the last episode of Series 10, when Capaldi smashes his fists into the snow to sort of hold back the regeneration from his hand. And now we've seen this again, and then we saw the fake regeneration in Series 10. So they're playing very heavily on Capaldi's regeneration stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, which in a way might be a good thing, because I want it to be very much centered around Capaldi as it's his last episode, because we were saying last week, weren't they, there's an awful lot going on in this, and I'm hoping he doesn't get a bit overshadowed by it being his last episode. So yeah, that's good. I'll tell you what else I can't help but almost bring a little tear to my eye is the beautiful velvet jacket is all shredded.
Oh no.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like another case of it's the end, that beautiful velvet jacket that he's wearing is all ripped and torn and battered and
not good.
No, it's worrying.
And Pearl Mackey's in the photo as well. So as we knew, she's back for it. So and David Bradley, they're all looking up at something quite astonishing in the sky. We can't see, but they're looking up at something that's obviously not good.
There seems to be a bit of a build-up about what is the monster in this Christmas special, as if it's going to be some big reveal, and I don't quite know what that's. I hope that's not going to be a letdown, because it seems to be a bit of a thing at the moment of what's the monster this year, and I don't know. Doesn't say. What does the synopsis say? Is there anything there about it?
Yeah, let me hit you with it.
Go on, then.
It's the magical final chapter of the 12th Doctor's journey. It sees the Time Lord team up with his former self, the First Doctor, and a returning Bill Potts for one last adventure. The two Doctors are stranded in an Arctic snowscape, refusing to face regeneration. Enchanted glass people, stealing their victims from frozen time, and a World War I captain destined to die on the battlefield, but taken from the trenches to play his part in the Doctor's story.
Okay.
An uplifting new tale about the power of hope in humanity's darkest hours. Twice Upon a Time marks the end of an era, but as the Doctor must face his past to decide his future, his journey is only just beginning.
It's a nice synopsis, actually, isn't it?
Very good.
I really like the sound of it. The word that I'm focusing in on is uplifting as well. I do like the sound of this.
Yes.
Really do. Gosh, surely are we actually going to get a decent Christmas special for once? Because it does sound really nice, and I like the little clip we got as well. So, yeah.
Going to go out there early. I think you're going to agree with me on this, but I think this could be the Christmas special that we've all wanted and and waited for all these years, because they're not amazing, are they? Crimbo specials.
No,
from
they're
Doctor
normally
Who.
a real letdown in the Moffat era. Yeah,
I think this could be a change. I think this could be a belter of a story.
I hope so, mate. I really do. There's only one thing that slightly worries me with this, is that the Moffat as a way of putting his own spin on the Doctor Who, on the Doctor's events, and changing things, and it slightly worries me that we're touching on the 10th planet story, because I'll give an example of what I mean, because I'm probably not explaining myself, but like the fact we had Clara appearing and telling the first Doctor which TARDIS to take, and so now whenever we think of the Doctor going off in the TARDIS, we think of Clara there, and I don't like that. I'm just leave stuff like that alone. So I'm slightly worried what the Moff is going to do in terms of, is he going to start throwing in little things that change the 10th planet every time I watch it? Do you know what I mean? I don't want that.
Right.
I just, fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. Just things like that worry me with the Moff. He likes to stick his sticky fingers in and change things, doesn't he? And I don't like it when he does that too much. So, but that's the only thing that worries me. I'm really, really looking forward to this. I think it's looking like you said, a really good Christmas special would be nice.
Yes. Yeah. There we go.
Yes. So actually, talking of that, so in other news, talking of the Christmas special, our friends in Canada, they so I always do that because of a theme park I went to years ago where they had this Canada song, Canada. It's never left me. And you go to Canada a lot, don't you? Yeah. Are you there over Christmas, or are you somewhere else?
Somewhere else, mate.
Oh, okay, you're somewhere else. Because they are actually getting it in cinemas on the 27th and 28th of December. So you'll be able to go and watch it on the big screen if you're in Canada. And it says it's at cineplexes across the country, it says. And also it says the episode itself is 100 minutes, which is the first I've heard of it. I don't know if that includes the bonus presentations that they're going to have in the cinema, or if they mean that the Christmas special is 100 minutes and there's going to be bonus presentations. I don't know. Because I'd heard the Christmas special was an hour, which I remember thinking, I remember thinking, God, that's not very long to cram in all that stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it's the 60-minute special itself, and then 2 20-minute.
Oh, is that what it is? So it's still an hour long, is it? Okie dokie. Yeah.
That's cool, though. It's pretty cool. I know some people have said they're not really up for seeing Who on the big screen, and
I love it.
But yeah, I think it's a good thing, because any moment that, potential Who fans who have not been into the show before get dragged along by their friends, and they think, wow, this is awesome, and then they get turned into Who fans, is not a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's happening less and less over here, isn't it? I mean, we did get a few in the cinema, but it seems to have really died off. Whereas I know America and Canada and stuff still, and Australia still tend to get a Canadian. Did I say Canada? That's a good country, Canada. I know they still get a few releases. I think the last one I went to was Deep Breath. I think was the last one I saw in the cinema. Have they done one since?
No.
Don't think so.
They did one in Cardiff, didn't they? Because a few people we saw went to something in Cardiff. But yeah, it's not as much as our North American friends. No,
I did hear they're doing a few. Are they doing a few press screenings or something in advance? Because I remember people saying, "Oh, it's all going to get leaked." They might be doing something in the north, I think, over here. But apparently they're going to cut the ending off. The regeneration.
Oh.
That's what I've heard, that they're going to. So I think there is a very limited advanced screening over here in the UK, in the north, I believe. But yeah, you're not going to get to see the regeneration. They're chopping it off.
Chopping it.
Yeah, saving that bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's cool, though. Canadian cinemas, then.
Yeah.
Getting a release there. Very cool. Last bit of news is Access All Areas, which is a BBC Radio 2 thing, is doing a Doctor Who special. Which is going to go out on Thursday, the 21st of December at 8 p.m. Now, the good thing about BBC Radio, obviously, is unlike TV, is that you can listen to that from anywhere in the world. If you just jump onto BBC Radio 2's website, they have a Listen Now player at the top. So anywhere you can listen to this, which is cool. So Jo Wiley, she's a British radio DJ. She's going to be doing a 2-hour special documentary behind the scenes of everything behind Capaldi's final story, Twice Upon a Time, and she'll be catching up with David Bradley, Stephen Moffat, Pearl Mackie, and Capaldi himself. And Matt Lucas is involved as well. Yes, he's going to dig out some stuff from the Doctor Who archive, apparently, to slot into the documentary. And she's going to be covering things like just general behind-the-scenes stuff of Twice Upon a Time. She's going to speak to Matt Lucas about how he approaches being recognised by Who fans these days. The radical ways that Pearl Mackie's life has been changed since playing Bill Potts. Reactions to various things, and just lots of stuff that you would expect from sort of BBC documentary style things. But yeah, jump onto the BBC Radio 2 website or the iPlayer website and just select radio and then find Radio 2. Thursday the 21st of December at 8 p.m. our time. So work that out for wherever you are.
That's cool. I like Jo Whiley as well. She's good choice, isn't she? Because she's a big fan of Doctor Who. So yeah, that should be quite good.
And I think this will be cool because obviously doing stuff for radio is very different than doing stuff for TV. So I think it'd be great to have all of those images, like everything that they're describing and everything. It'll be great to have your mind make up what you think is going on. And then when you actually see it, you'll be like, oh, it wasn't that at all. Well, you might be
Can I just put money on it? I'm pretty sure Matt Lucas is going to appear in the Christmas special. I'm putting money on it now. I'm paying £5.
£5?
That's how confident I am. No, I'm sure he's going to be in it. I've just got this feeling.
Of course he is.
He's going to make a little. I kind of hope so, actually. I liked old Nardi. So I hope he makes a little appearance. Although I liked his send-off, actually, as well. So maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Old Nardi.
Old Nardi.
Yeah.
It's me, Nardi.
There we go. That's the news. So some cool stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
In the run-up to Crimbo special. Shall we get our Dalek friend in?
Oh, go on then. Oh, the rant jingle. Did that for a while.
Crikey.
You're saving that for Christmas.
I'm saving that for
We thought it was going to be a good special, and it was terrible.
Let's try that again, shall we?
Right.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Just one bit of news. Oh, God. News. Just one bit of merchandise.
A bit of merch.
From our grumpy friend. He's just frisbeed over the tray, which contains a new tie. And I mean a necktie, not like a cable tie or anything like that. So those of you that have to wear a suit for work or you have to wear a suit for anything, you can now bag yourself a knitted TARDIS tie from those cool guys over at Lavazzi. Lavazzi are the people that make the official Tom Baker scarves and the Seventh Doctor pullover and the umbrella and all that stuff. So really cool company, actually. And it's nice. It's like a very dark blue, and then the TARDIS is a lighter blue stitching on the top. And according to Lavazzi, they say that they spent countless hours finessing their releases this year, and they can't wait to unveil them. What better way to kick off the 2017/18 collection than the TARDIS tie, featuring one of the most beautiful and memorable designs in televisual history. And it's an unusual tie as well. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't like this style of tie. It's the one that's straight at the bottom. It's not angled. You know, it's not bad. I mean, it looks very nice quality-wise, and the design is very cool and spot on, as you'd expect from Lavazzi. And it's official Doctor Who BBC merch as well, because they do have a license agreement with the BBC. So it's all spot on and everything. And it's $24.99.
Yes, I like Lavazzi stuff. I am really excited to see what they come out with next year, actually. They're obviously going to tie in with the new Doctor, aren't they? Which is quite exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's a nice tie. I agree with you. I'm not a fan of the straight cut. So, yeah. But I think that, you know, it's quite hip, isn't it, to wear these ties at the minute? Like, you know, me and you with our old square kipper ties. Or, all the young lads are wearing these things. But yeah, I must admit, I'm not. I think the tie itself looks nice. But
yes, it does.
Yeah. But
yeah. They also do another one in exactly the same style. So the straight cut one, but it's the Fourth Doctor scarf
I
style.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly the same, but just got all the stripy colours from Tom's scarf. So yeah, if you want to bag this, head over to Lovarzi, and that's spelled Lovarzi, Lovarzi.co.uk, and you'll see it right on the homepage. It's that stuff. Just click on Doctor Who and then ties from the navigation, and you'll see both of them there. And we'll put a link in the show notes anyway. So if you're looking at this on the website, you'll be able to click over. But yeah, if you're after a new tie, or if you know somebody, because Christmas is coming up, if you know somebody that's into their neckties and is a Doctor Who fan, this could be Christmas sorted for you.
Be a nice present, actually, to be fair.
It would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Santa.
Oh, Santa, yeah.
Oh, apparently I haven't been good enough this year. Oh, dear.
Apparently so. Right, let's crack on, buddy.
Yes.
Information. We are reviewing the Christmas special from 2007. Information. Adam, what is it?
It is the 10th Doctor story, Voyage of the Damned.
The shields are down!
Information. You are all going to die.
I'm the Doctor. I'm a Time Lord. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Kasterborous. I'm 903 years old, and I'm the man who's going to save your lives and all 6 billion people on the planet below. You got a problem with that?
Information. Kill.
I can't!
Titanic falling.
Ooh, kill.
I like the variation on the music there. It is quite Christmassy. You know the Christmas song, the Christmas music that's in a load of films? It kind of sounds like, the one that's like ding, flies a dum, ding, flies a dum.
Yeah.
I like the twist on that. It does make it feel slightly more Christmassy because it isn't really a Christmas.
Subtly. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Anyways, this came out on Christmas Day in 2007, so 10 years ago, almost.
Yeah.
It was written by Russell T Davies, directed by James Strong, and stars Mr. Tennant along with Kylie Minogue, looking for the TARDIS. And quite a decent support cast. Well, I say decent, quite a large supporting cast.
Yeah.
And the situation is the Doctor's looking a little bit in his TARDIS because he's a bit upset, isn't he? He's just, gone through the mill in the previous story, if you like.
Oh yeah, I was trying to think what came before it. Was it the Master one? Was it that one?
Last of the Time Lords.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's been through it a little bit, so he's looking a bit downtrodden and woe is me. And then he's got no time to mope around because the Titanic interstellar liner comes crashing through the TARDIS, which we'll come on to in a minute, actually. And then he materializes on the TARDIS and gets hooked up in a big deceitful plan to kill everybody on board and then crash the liner into Earth, causing a nuclear explosion that's going to wipe out everyone on Earth, causing the company to be jailed and whatever. And then the owner of this company can then run off into the distance and in his little floating head, little cyborg head in a case thing. So yeah, Voyage of the Damned, mate. What do you reckon to this? Your face is just
no. I was just thinking. I was just transporting myself back to when I watched it when it went out the first time. Because you were saying about it being 2007. I was thinking, blimey. Because the reason it sticks on my mind is because I remember watching it and thinking, oh Yeah, it was okay. Some good funny bits. And turning to my cousin who was next to me on the sofa, we'd both gone upstairs and shut ourselves away from all the stuff going on, with family. We wanted to watch it in peace. And I just remember turning to say, "What did you think?" And he was just asleep. And then to this day, like when I saw him last weekend, actually, and I said, "Oh, we were reviewing Voyage of the Damned." And he's like, "Oh, I remember that one. It's boring." And I said, "Yeah, I remember you were asleep." But anyway, I fast forward 10 years. I watched it last night, and I didn't find it boring, actually. I found it very watchable. It's a lot more cheesy than I remembered. So in many ways, it's not quite as good as I remembered, but I did enjoy it, and I just thought it was very watchable. And there was lots of bits that I really liked and a few bits I didn't. And without going too far forward, I just thought David Tennant was amazing in it. So he really carried it for me in terms of the episode as a whole. So, he brings it up a lot, I think. Doing a bit of a Matt Smith, I thought, in terms of, I thought the story maybe wasn't that great, but he was amazing in it. So, yeah, no, overall I enjoyed it. It wasn't quite as good as I remembered it, but I did think it was fairly decent. Yeah.
Okay.
For a Christmas special.
For a Christmas special, right.
Mm.
Okay.
What about you?
Yes. I will be honest with you. I'm not really a fan of this one.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. I think David Tennant is very, very good in it.
Mm.
But the story itself is a little bit just it doesn't really get me going, if you know what I mean. It's not.
It is missing something, isn't it?
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's missing something that gets me excited about it. I mean, it's always going to fall under the curse of the the Doctor Who Christmas special, anyway. Why have they struggled so much with Christmas specials? Do you wonder?
I don't know, because I liked the first few. Like I love the Catherine Tate one, the Christmas Invasion, and Tennant's first one. Or I always forget the titles, but I like the first few Christmas specials, and I would put this in there as one that I like. Right. But after that, once we get into the Moffat era, I don't think there's not many I like, if any.
They're dreadful in the Moffat era.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Christmas Invasion is not bad, actually. We reviewed that.
Is that the? Or is it, what's the? Is it last? No. What's the first? What's the one with the first one with Tennant where he's in bed?
The Christmas Invasion.
Yeah, because I really like that one. And then it's the Runaway Bride, isn't it? Really like that one.
That's quite
really
cool.
Like that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't know. It just, all the ingredients are there, but for some reason I just find myself being quite bored with this one. And to be honest with you, I've only seen it twice. I watched it when I picked up the DVD box set a few years ago. And then I watched it again this morning. So I've only seen it twice. And I did think to myself, when I remember going back, I wasn't really into it. So maybe I've changed a bit, as you do over time.
Yeah.
But no, I just can't get excited by it, and I can't get into it. Even like the really cool scenes where David Tennant's making his little speech in the corridor. And the cool sort of argument he has with the head in the case towards the end, and the cool little bits of banter he has with the hosts. All these really great little things. I think really David Tennant sells it a lot.
I do, yeah.
But the rest of it, no. I mean, the supporting cast, even Kylie, she's not putting her best sort of acting chops on, really. She's a little bit bland for me, and the rest of them, yeah. Even Banner Latte. Banana latte. Banana latte. Yeah, even Banner Cafe Latte is dreadful. And he's an android.
I wouldn't say he's dreadful. I'll tell you what, you said it had all the right ingredients. I think there is one ingredient missing, or there's certainly one that's gone a bit off for me, which has always been the case when I've watched this, is the main villain, Max
Capricorn.
As soon as he rolls out, I just think, he's really boring and bland, and he's only there for 5 minutes. He doesn't really do anything, and Yeah, I always think he's the worst or the most disappointing thing about it is him as the sort of big reveal, because there's quite a big build up to it, isn't there? All this, what's on level 31 or whatever it is, who's down there, who's controlling these things, and it's all quite a big build up, and then there's all the dry ice, and he finally wheels himself out, and he's just a head in a box that's puffing away.
Yeah,
and I just sort of think, oh, what a letdown he is. So for me, it has got all the right ingredients, but apart from that, really, that's where it really falls flat for me, because I love the hosts. I think the robots are wicked. I know there's a lot of comparison to Robots of Death, and there definitely is. They even copy some of the scenes, don't they? Like the hand getting trapped in the door and the kill, and all that. So there's definitely a Robots of Death influence, but I think they're a nice design, and I think they work quite well. Especially love the fact they can take their halos off and use them as killer frisbee. It's a brilliant idea.
That's cool. Yeah.
So they're good as a baddie, but yeah, it's just that when they wheel out the main villain Max, I always think, oh, such a letdown, and then he just gets pushed. Well, yeah, gets pushed over the edge of into the engines or whatever, and he's taken out within 2 minutes. So yeah, it does fall apart a bit at the end, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, he's not the best villain, is he, that we've seen in the Doctor Who story? But yeah, I mean, the effects were quite good. The way his head was, had all the cables coming out of his neck and all that stuff. I mean, that was quite well done. It wasn't a prosthetic head that moved awkwardly. It was an actor's head, but it was like done in a way that it looked very, very cool. But yeah, it's, and the thing is, I really want to like it as well, because it's a Tennant Christmas special. It's a big story. It's an hour long. It's over an hour. It's like 70 minutes, isn't it? It's an hour.
Yeah,
and 10.
actually, I kept thinking that, because I kept thinking, I wasn't sure whether I'd need another page of notes. I'd got to the bottom of the page, and I was thinking, it's nearly 60 minutes, so I won't bother. Mm-hmm. And then it kept going, and I was thinking, it's longer than an hour. To be honest, I think they could have probably cut a bit out. It does take a little while to get going, don't you think? Like, I think that's why my cousin fell asleep. He always says the pacing feels a little off in the whole story to me. Like, there are bits of it where it's really sort of exciting and stuff's happening, and then there's lots of slow moments, but it doesn't flow for me at all, this special. It feels a little bit disjointed,
right,
in many ways. As like when they go down to Earth, they transport down for like 2 minutes. Although it's great because we get to see Wilf, which I'd completely forgotten about.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was really shocked to see him. I was like, hang on, it's Wilf. So that was a nice surprise. Do we know he's Wilf at this point, or is he just a random?
That's hard to say, actually.
Yeah, he doesn't name checking, does he? And I got a feeling maybe he stepped in the following series when, when Catherine Tate comes on board. But yeah, so that was a nice surprise to see Wilf. But then we're transported back to the cruise ship, and we're still trying to get to know all the characters. I don't know. It doesn't flow that easily, this one, for me, in terms of, the build up and stuff. Seems a little bit clunky.
I agree. Yes, it does feel. Yeah, it does take a while to get going. And then when it gets going, it's sort of over all too easily.
Yeah.
As well, for me. I mean, I don't want to bash it too much. It's not a terrible story by any means.
No, it's watchable, isn't it? It's perfectly watchable.
Yeah. One thing I did like was the whole conspiracy thing. So at the beginning, where the captain of the ship is, you can tell that something's not right at all. With what he's up to. So he dismisses all of the other shipments, and then it's just him, and he wanted the place to himself. But then old Alonso stays out and stays behind, and and you can tell that he's kind of been. Not that he's been forced into it, but because he's made that decision to sort of sabotage the ship because he's dying of something which we're not informed of, but he's getting a ton of money for his family. I like that whole thing because that's quite sad. That's but the problem is the two things aren't linked together very well. If you know what I mean. So we don't know for certain that it was, I mean, we know that it was Max that obviously paid him off his family off. But there's no connection between the captain and Max. You know, there's no conversation about it. There's no inkling about exactly what's gone on. And so it felt a little bit empty because of that. Because I really like that scene at the beginning where you can see like something's not quite right. You know, he's up to something, and then when the asteroids hit the ship, he sort of dies, and then that's it. There's no connection really.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But otherwise, I think it's set up very well with those scenes and so on. Introducing to Alonso, Russell Tovey is pretty good.
Yeah, he's good. I liked him in it actually. Yeah.
And then it sort of goes into a dip for a while. We get introduced to a bunch of other characters, don't we? We get introduced to the two, the Van Hoffs couple. The yuppie out for himself guy. What's his name? Slade. Is it Rixton Slade? I think.
I don't know what his name was actually. Yeah.
And we also get introduced to Kylie, obviously, and then we get introduced to Mr. Copper, Clive Swift. Which we'll come on to.
I kept thinking that all the way through, but we'll come on to that.
Yeah. And Bana Kafalata.
Yeah.
So we get introduced to those guys because they sort of go on the journey with the Doctor, don't they, to survive and save the ship and so on. So it kind of takes a dip while we're doing all that because, yeah, it's just a few scenes after another where the Doctor's just plodding around and...
Yeah, that's what I meant about the pacing. Yeah, it feels a bit like, I think what it's trying to do is get us to warm to the characters because ultimately a lot of them end up getting bumped off. Yeah. So, you know, I can sort of see what Russell was doing because he wants us to care about them. Because I think that's the problem with a lot of the Moffat era is he, you know, well, no one dies, but if they do die, you know, they've only been on screen for 5 minutes, so we don't really care about them. So I think what Russell's trying to do in that first bit is get people introduced to the characters and warm to them and get who they are, you know, so that we feel something when they die. But yeah, it does, like I said, it does feel a little bit pacing wise, a bit clunky in terms of the story flowing. Yeah.
What do you reckon some of these guys then? So the Van Hoffs, Foon and Morvin, Van Hoffs, the couple that have won the tickets. So they're not as rich as everyone else on the cruise liner. They're there because they've won a comp.
Yeah.
So, but they're quite cute, those two, I thought.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, they're okay. I mean, it's quite fun when the Doctor pops the champagne cork, or you know, so it goes all over the people laughing at him. I quite liked that, and I do like the scene actually. I mean, because I wasn't particularly warming much to them until about halfway through when she confesses that she's spent so much money ringing the phone line to actually win the ticket. She could have probably paid for it, and she thinks he's going to be cross, and he just laughs. I thought that's actually a very sweet scene, and I at that point I did warm towards them as a couple because I suppose we can all relate to that, especially me and you hiding things from our partners in terms of what we spent, and so I thought that was a nice scene, and I did like them at that point, but yeah, I don't know the other guy, the posh guy that's you know, bit of a what actually the only thing with that is I do love the way it plays in at the end because I mean you're not supposed to like him, he's just a nasty selfish piece of work, whatever the character's name is, the you know, the rich guy that's just you know, he's always making deals on his phone, and I mean as much as he's supposed to be annoying and you know he's okay at playing the part, I do love the payoff at the end when Mr. Copper says to the Doctor, you know, he's not who you would have chose to survive out of this lot. But then if you could choose, what does that make you? And I think it's a nice thought that, because, you know, we're all thinking the same thing, aren't we? We're all thinking, why did he survive? You know, when the other nice people have died and sort of thing. But yeah, so that's quite a nice bit of writing by Russell, I think, at the end. Makes it a bit more interesting.
No, I agree. Yeah. And he sort of, that guy, you kind of think he's turned around a little bit.
A little bit,
because he hugs the Doctor, doesn't he? And he says thank you. And you think, he's, you know, this experience has changed his outlook on life and he's going to be a better person. But then he doesn't change his expression. He says
he's made a load of money out of it in the end or something, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's just back on his phone and you just think, nothing. No, some people just don't change, do they? Even these life-changing experiences, close to death and all the rest of it. And he's just gone back to being a bit of an a-hole.
Yeah.
About the whole thing, yeah. What about the little red porcupine dude?
I didn't mind him, actually. So you didn't like him, Mr.
No,
Banacafalata?
Annoying as hell.
Yeah,
I think it's his voice, really.
Yeah, it's Jimmy V, isn't it? Who's been played a few little monsters in Doctor Who. I didn't mind him.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel anything when he died. So that probably tells you all you need to. Do you know what I mean? I didn't sort of sit there and think, oh no. Like I think some people probably did, but I didn't feel much towards him.
No.
But I thought he was okay. I mean, that spiky head thing, they pop up again in the story you like. Different. They're green, aren't they?
The End of Time.
End of Time, yeah. Is that the same? Are they part of the same race or something?
Kind of, because the Doctor mistakes them and they not very happy
and they get
about
offended.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, that's interesting following that through. But I thought it was all right. Old little Banacafalata,
I think it's, you know what, I think literally just his voice, I think that does my head.
All right, okay. Yeah.
And also this whole thing about, this proposal to Astrid and stuff. Yeah. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I must admit, I did think that, yeah. When he dies there, I mean, that scene kind of was at the point where I was quite enjoying it pretty much watching it, but then, we got to that scene where they're going across that dangerous broken bridge across the engines. It's all very exciting, and then the hosts come up and you're like, how are they going to get out of this? And then I found that scene ridiculous from that 5 minutes. It kind of ruined it a little bit for me, actually, because like the Doctor's baseball batting away their deadly frisbees, so's Kylie, and 1 minute they can't walk on this piece of metal across the floor, and the next minute they stood on it hitting away deadly frisbees, and then Banacafalata suddenly does something. He's got something in him, hasn't he, like a charge or something that just wipes them out. I must admit, I thought at that point, we're getting a bit silly. I mean, I knew the whole thing's silly, but you know what I mean? It didn't hold much water in me, that particular bit. I did sort of start to, because I found that quite a few bits in this very cheesy, a lot more cheesy than I remember, almost a bit self-indulgent at times. And that was one of them. Do you know what I mean? And also, well, let's just say the Queen at the end. And, there are some bits in this where I think it's just a little bit too, it just goes a bit too cheesy. But yeah, that was one particular moment, like when he dies and what is it they pull out of him? Because they use it again later, don't they, to wipe out the host? Yeah,
it's like an EMP charge, effectively, but I think it powers his android body, doesn't it? So it's like a power brick, if you like, a giant battery.
Yeah. Well, I guess that kind of works, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just, again, things like that aren't necessarily, it wasn't too bad, but I guess it's just sort of setting up set pieces throughout the story, if you like. If you know what I mean by that, by set pieces. So we have these sort of moments where they've got to fend off certain things. And one thing I did like in this story is the sort of the underlying threat of the engines collapsing.
Yeah.
So if the engines go out, then obviously it falls and crashes to Earth and then everybody dies and stuff. So I like the fact that Alonso's there just sort of holding the fort, if you like.
Yeah.
And then the Doctor and these other people have got all these sort of different set pieces to get through in order to get to him to save the ship, sort of thing. But I did think it was a little bit predictable as well. One thing I did like as well, that's what I mean, there are things that I like about this. And
me too. Yeah.
One thing I did like, and it sounds a bit weird, is that people actually die in this.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say, I know. But
I know what you mean, though. Yeah.
So, because sometimes it's just one of those things, sometimes the Doctor cannot save everybody every time. And although he promises, although he does say in his little speech, I'm going to get you all out of here. And
I wish he wouldn't do it, because you're like, every time he says it, you're like, don't say that. Yeah.
So,
don't commit.
Yeah. And you do have that sort of, that, if you're going to commit to it, then, but, a lot of things are outside of his control, really. So, but I like the fact that people die. So our cute little couple, they end up toddling off. You got Banacafalata, does the off. And then surprisingly, Astrid dies. I didn't see... I remember the first time I watched it, I thought, I never would have thought they would have killed her off, you know?
Yeah, I must admit, I'm surprised. But then I suppose if they hadn't have killed her off, she would have had to go travelling with the Doctor. And they probably couldn't afford her for the next series, I shouldn't think. Because he's really keen for her to go with him, isn't he? He's like, yeah, come and see the stars.
Yeah, I bet that's what he wants to.
Yeah,
to
I
see,
didn't. So we all know what's yeah, but yeah, it is a good thing in a way, because otherwise there's no real threat. If people don't die. But I was surprised. I mean, I was sad to see poor old Morvin go, and then of course his wife. She just gives up then, doesn't she? She's like, she sort of sacrifices herself. So it's quite dark in the middle of this sort of fun romp, if you like.
It is. It's a moment of darkness, and because the reason why I like that is it does give it a sort of sense of sort of realness, if you like. If it was, and the reason why I'm surprised is because it's a Christmas special. Normally, the Christmas special is very light and fluffy and happy.
Yeah.
And, so the fact that we have these dark moments and people dying, it does sort of throw a curveball at you. It's like, whoa, I thought we were celebrating this happy time of Christmas, and then we've got people dying left, right, and centre. So
yeah,
but it's cool. But I do think it sets up that that sense of the Doctor's direction that Russell took him in, like this Time Lord victorious. Because it's another sense of loss for him. All these people that he's lost, it does put him into that mindset of, he's not going to let anyone die anymore. He goes, it sort of plants the seed for that stuff, doesn't it? This, not on my watch, people. And it really comes to fruition, doesn't it, at the Waters of Mars? So that kind of thing. So I appreciate that that's what they've done with it, and that's a cool element of the story.
Yeah, no, I agreed, mate. Totally agree. Yeah.
And then we also have, so it was just mainly Astrid, Kylie dying that I thought, wow, that's really brave to do that, because, like you say, if she'd have survived, though, it would have been a Kylie companion series 4. Is it series 4 after this?
Yeah. We get Tate back. It's a really long, what do you call it, trailer for it at the end of this. Actually, I was thinking, blimey, they show nearly the whole series. So yeah, it's Tate at the end of this. Yeah,
they must have done this in the same block as all of series 4, because it's a really long trailer. It's like 3 minutes worth.
There's loads of ood in it,
and it's really cool because all of the trailer also shows all of the special effects from all the episodes, and it's the final edit as well. So very, very cool.
Actually, talking of special effects, I will say I did think this looked a bit dated in places in terms of the effects. Some of it didn't hold up particularly good. Like you said, Max looked good, like prosthetics and stuff. But yeah, some of the CGI looked a bit ropey. But then I suppose it's 10 years old, isn't it? But I mean, the bit of it flying over the Buckingham Palace, the CGI wasn't too bad. although it's a, I'm not sure about that scene. Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, what is that?
That's another. I know. I just can't quite believe they actually did that. But yeah, some of that's a bit ropey. Yeah.
That's absolutely shocking, that impression.
Thank you, Doctor. Merry Christmas. I know.
You can't have a, well.
It's the bit where she's running down the stairs as well, all the corgis and things. It's a bit, yeah.
I think it's, I mean, it's not like, come on. We don't need to see the Queen running down the steps in her slippers and her dressing gown with the corgis and stuff. It's just for...
It was so bad but it does put a smile on my face. I will admit, it does put a smile on my face, but probably for all the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's just trying to get over? It's like, in the UK, this is what happens at Christmas. The Queen,
probably,
saunts around in a dressing gown and slippers, and everyone's watching a lot of people do watch the Queen's speech, I suppose, and because it's Wilf, isn't he? He's got his TV on in his little newspaper shack.
I love that. Yeah.
He's I love his character. Because he's like, he's a war veteran as well. He's very patriotic, isn't he? Anything to do with the Queen and country, he's there and saluting, and
Yeah.
I reckon he is meant to be Wilf in this, thinking about it more.
Oh, he is definitely meant to be him. I think they just don't name check him, or maybe they hadn't decided he was going to be in it. Yeah, because I think he replaced Catherine Tate's dad in the series, didn't he, that died? Or I don't know, we've said this before and we got a bit muddled what actually was the situation, but whatever it was, he was brought in as a full-time because of circumstances. So maybe he was going to be a little bit part character that they brought in. But I'm so glad they did, because even in those short little scenes, he is one of my favorite characters from, for want of a better phrase, New Who. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? From the new series. I just love Wilf, love Bernard Cribbins, yeah.
He's awesome, yeah.
He is.
Yeah. No, what I mean is I think he is meant to be as in...
Wilf, yeah.
As in Wilf, as in granddad to Donna. And
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, what did you think to Kylie then, as Astrid?
Yeah, a bit weak, actually.
Me too.
I mean, the thing is, I know we all think of her as a singer, but she has done plenty of acting. I mean, she was in the award-winning soap Neighbours for years.
Multi-award-winning.
The multi-award for years. So, it's not like she's... Because sometimes they bring in guest stars that, acting is not their principal, thing that they do. But she has done plenty of acting. And I'm not saying her acting was bad, because it wasn't. It was fine. But she just doesn't stand out as doing anything. She's just a bit bland. I think you said it at the start, didn't you? She's just a bit bland.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be sort of grabbing the part much. And she seems to be just like, saying her lines. I'm a waitress. I'm probably going to get sacked in a minute. And that's it, really. Gooey-eyed. I'm looking at the doctor, gooey-eyed. I did laugh at the bit where she stands on the box to kiss him, because she is really short, isn't she? But yeah, she's just a bit bland. Yeah, not bad, just bland.
Yeah.
What the kiss?
The kiss, yeah.
Yeah, well, Russell has to put it in there.
That's what I was going to say.
He wouldn't be able to resist it.
No, I was going to say that's all Russell, that, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, not once, but twice, because they get another one at the end of the hologram kiss, don't they?
Yeah. When she's just the atoms and
particles, atoms, yeah. I know. But again, that comes back to what I was saying about being very cheesy in places.
Yes.
Even some of the dialogue is very cheesy. Yeah, which I suppose at Christmas you can let it go a bit, but yeah.
I agree, mate. I think her performance doesn't jump out in any way. It's just
no.
Yeah. And okay, then Mr. Tennant himself, then older.
Oh no, you've missed off the one I've been waiting for.
Oh no, sorry. Older
before we do Tennant, hold the front page.
Sorry, I'm very sorry. Midshipman Alonso.
No. Mr. Copper, the grumpy old
Clive Swift.
So-and-so.
Oh, sorry.
I've been dying for you to get to him, Mr. Copper, only because that interview came to light recently from Doctor Who magazine where he was so grumpy and rude, wasn't he? It was like, I thought it was a fake interview. I could not believe it was genuine. I don't know about you. The thing is, right, grumpy interview aside from Clive Swift, who basically just said, I don't know why I'm talking to you, brother. Grumpy interview aside, I do really like him in this as Mr. Copper. I particularly love the end scene with him and the Doctor where he's like plonked on Earth and finds out he's a millionaire and he's like, where are you going? And, so I actually really like him in it. But all the way through, all I could think of is he's a really nasty piece of work. Because I know a friend of a friend who's like met him at the stage door and got told to beep off, so it's not like he was just having a bad day. But anyway, I do like him in it. Despite, the actor himself.
All right, I read you.
Yeah. Do you like him in it?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have some quite nice little scenes with...
he does.
Yeah, he does seem a little bit... there's a bit where he's like, well, I'm probably going to get thrown in jail for this. And probably... I could get the feeling he's fishing a little bit for somebody to sort of whisk him away and... so he doesn't end up in jail. But, because he does help a lot with saving people and stuff. The Doctor's obviously... And it's a cool scene with the credit card as well. He just has no concept, does he? He said, I thought £1 million would be about right for trinkets and stuff. And the Doctor's like, £1 million. And then when he realises how much money he's actually got and he can settle down and get a house and everything and with a garden and all that, he's overjoyed, isn't he? It's brilliant. It's a nice little ending. It's a little happy it's kind of bittersweet, but it's a happy-ish sort of ending to see him go off and,
No, I think he plays the character really nice, Clive Swift. I have to say, he gives a good performance. Obviously, he also played, what's the horrible character he plays in Revelation of the Daleks? Mr.
The Colin
Joe
Baker.
Bell. Mr. Joe Bell.
That's it.
With the wig. He's also that kind of...
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a much sweeter, older character. And I do like the way Clive Swift plays it. But if anybody listening doesn't know what I'm talking about with that interview, just Google Clive Swift Doctor Who magazine interview or whatever, because it is hilarious.
It's solid gold, isn't it?
It's pure gold. Yeah, I think it was a few years ago. In fact, I think it was part of promotion for this, so it's probably 2007. But it resurfaced for some bizarre reason.
That's right.
Recently, didn't it? And it's hilarious. Just go and have a look at it.
And how that was published, I have no idea.
Oh, I know. Well, he said, I think the interview said, "Are you sure it's okay to publish this?" He's like, "Do what you want," and slams the phone down. Do what you like.
The thing is, though, you can't ignore that article when you're watching it.
I kept thinking of it every time he's on screen.
Because in the back of your mind, like, I bet when the cameras are not rolling, he's telling everyone to beep off and, get out of my way. And,
give me that script. Yeah, I don't know. But,
okay.
But anyway.
So apologies for missing him, and then Alonso, who turns up at the end of Time Part 2 and gets a bit of a blind date with Captain Jack, doesn't he?
Paired off with Captain Jack. Yeah, I almost feel sorry for poor old Alonso because he seems quite innocent. I think he doesn't know what he's in for. I thought it was a nice performance from Russell Tovey. Actually, I think he's a nice little actor. Do you know, in contrast to what we've just said about Clive Swift, I mean, I've never met Clive Swift, but I was lucky enough to bump into Russell Tovey on the street and in London, and he is, because I'm not sounding big-headed, I have bumped into a few people. When I lived in London, I used to bump into people all the time. Russell Tovey is one of the nicest people I've ever bumped into in terms of saying hello to and can I get a picture with you? And he was absolutely, just really nice. Like some people you just feel like they're like, yeah, of course you can see him, mate, and he's off and done. He was just so nice, and every time I see him I just think of that. He was just really pleasant. So, and I think he gives a nice performance in this. I think he's a nice character, and it is nice to think that somewhere in the timeline he goes to that Star Wars Cantina bar and gets paired off for Jack. Because I can see the two together. Because he's shot in this, isn't he? And all the way through, I kept thinking, nobody seems to be trying to help him or save him. Like, even when the Doctor finally breaks through the floor and gets to him, do you know what I mean? He seems in a really bad way because he's been shot, hasn't he, quite early on in the story, and he's bleeding and trying to steer the ship with a bullet in him. And even at the end, the Doctor just sort of waves to him and he's just stood there holding his bullet wound. I was thinking somebody really ought to try and help him at some point, this poor guy that's just saved everybody's lives. So, yeah, I feel a little sorry for him at the end, actually. But we know he has a good ending, so that's all good.
We know that he pulls through.
Well, what happens after they leave that bar, we don't know.
We have no idea. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. Okay. Now then, Mr. Tennant.
Mr. Tennant.
Would you reckon he's like the star piece of the story?
I would say that, mate. I really would. I think for a start, he's absolutely rocking that tux. He does wear a tux well, does Mr. Tennant. He gives a great performance in this, I think. The speech you mentioned, I am the Doctor, I'm 903 years old and I'm going to save you all, blah, 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 is brilliantly delivered. I just think he gives a great performance in it. Really like David in this one.
Yes. I concur. I think he has some great little scenes. I think he's on fire. He looks good in the tux. Yeah. With the Converse on as well. It's a really good look for him as the Doctor. Not an overuse of the Sonic as well.
Well, I was worried it was getting a bit overused because at the start he uses it a lot, but then he gives it to that posh bloke and that kind of gets rid of it. So yeah.
But he doesn't use it as like a reset button, and he doesn't use as like we need to fix everything in one go. Let's get the Sonic out. He only uses it to like bypass and security to look at a video feed or stuff like that. So it's not overused too much, quite like that. But yeah, he's just, some of his scenes are really good, like the little speech and that scene at the end with Clive Swift's character, Mr. Copper. Really, really nice. And a couple of nice little scenes with Astrid as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. They work reasonably well together, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the scene at the end with Max, when the hosts drag him off and he comes face to face with Max, you can see he's really angry about such a petty excuse to kill everybody. He's really riled up and he's yelling and stuff. So I think we see a good range from Tennant in this one. We see him quite funny, quite angry, a little bit cute at times, the whole Astrid thing. And
yeah, that's a good thing. Good scene, actually, you just mentioned, in terms of because when he does get to meet Max, he does go from his sort of quippy doctor to the angry doctor really well, doesn't he? Because it's quite fun, that first thing, because Max's tooth sparkles and he's like, oh, it actually does that. And he's quite good with the humour, I think. And then obviously, he gets very angry when he finds out what it's all about. So he's very good at that as Mr. Tennant, going from funny to angry.
Yeah, and I like the whole, what's your name, Alonso? You're kidding.
Oh.
What is one to say? Alonso?
Yeah, that is a nice scene.
Yeah. So I think he's on fire. He's one of those episodes where he's just in the moment and he's doing what he does best. Which is,
I think he carried it a little bit. I've got to be honest. I thought he was so good in it, but I did feel he was carrying the episode a little bit in it. Yeah, but he's very good in it.
Very cool.
Was you going to say something about the TARDIS at the beginning? Because you were saying about it crashing. The boat crashing through the TARDIS. Even going, what? Yeah. Doing the what thing. Were you going to say something about that?
Yeah, I'm confused as to how that ship managed to crash through the TARDIS like that, because, it's the Doctor's mentioned across quite a few stories about the TARDIS being sort of not indestructible, but, it's very, very, nothing's ever going to break through, the TARDIS and stuff like that. And then just out of nowhere, this ship sort of breaks through, and I understand why they've done that. That's like dramatic thing, and we see like the life ring that says Titanic on it, and it's a good dramatic way. Don't get me wrong; it's a cool way to introduce that to the because we don't know it's like a space liner at that point. It could be the Titanic,
yeah.
But then he does this weird thing where he sort of winds this thing on the console, and all the panels start zipping back together and stuff. It just doesn't feel very TARDIS-y.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought that there is a throwaway line when he first meets Kylie, I think, where he says something like, "Oh, I was just doing some TARDIS refurbishments, and I switched off the outer defenses or something," and that's it.
Yeah,
it's explained away in like one line, I think, but it is a bit cheeky. Yeah, a little bit cheeky. Like you said, it's just there for dramatic effect, isn't it? But
it's
I
okay.
do love it's okay. But I could see what I had exactly the same thought as well. Thinking, what's going on here? I just got to say, I love the way he clicks his fingers as well with the host robots at the end. That's just Tennant being absolutely in the zone, isn't it?
Brilliant. Yeah.
And the music coming in and him flying up through the sky. Yeah. So there's some great moments with Tennant in this one.
Yeah. Very cool. Is there anything you want to mention before our scores?
No, I don't think so, mate. No, I think we've covered it.
I like the little dedication to Verity Lambert at the end.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
that's very cool, because she passed away sadly, didn't she, in November of 2007. So
yeah,
so that's quite nice. Because I completely forgot that was a year she had passed away until I saw all of the stuff on Twitter over the last few days and last week about her and stuff. So yeah, that's a nice little nod. And I quite like Murray's music in this. Not too bad. Nothing stands out, all right. But sort of suited the mood, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah.
Right then, scores. It's me to go first. I'm going to bang straight in with a 6.5.
Coolio. Yeah, I had a feeling you'd be slightly lower than me. I've gone slightly higher, so I've gone for a 7.5.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So that's about right, actually.
Very cool. Okay. Oh, good. Right, let's jump over very quickly to see what our lovely listeners did think. We did the Twitter poll as usual.
Yes.
83% said likey. And 17% said stinky.
Stinky. Okay.
That's quite swayed very heavily positive. Let's kick off with an audio clip before we do more Twitter and Facebook stuff. This is Sammy Satine.
G'day, Gary and Adam, Sammy Satine here. So, Voyage of the Damned, my first ever episode of Doctor Who. Yes, if it wasn't for this one, I wouldn't be here now reviewing this for you. Our Kylie, or the Singing Budgie, was actually what initially drew me to this story. I think she's great as Astrid Peth. I like Mr. Copper, the creator of the Mr. Copper Foundation, which created the Subwave Network in the Stolen Earth Journey's End. I like Mr. and Mrs. Foon. Banner Cafalata! Wilf makes his debut in this. Love David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. He looks hot in that tux. Not to mention that little speech he gives is great. I just love the 10th Doctor. Anyway, Russell Tovey is Alonzo Frame. Also, Jeffrey Palmer is great too. I love this story. Also, the tribute to Verity Lambert is lovely. I could go on about this story. 10 out of 10. See ya.
Wow.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
It's just because she was getting all steamed up over Tennant, I think. She's thinking 10, 10 and 10.
That's such a common thing, isn't it? With Tennant anyway. But then when he puts
in a tux.
Yeah, when the tux is on, it's like, yeah, I really do. Over on Twitter, Bad Wilf, our good friend Martin said, it's all right, overly long and self-indulgent, but has a good few moments. Introduced us to Wilf and gave us the infamous Ben Cook interview with Clive Swift. As Adam mentioned, you guys have got to check it out if you've not seen it before. Gallifrey's Guard said, great episode, another example of a classic movie concept working well in Doctor Who. Rob Kelly tweets, says, I like the episode, not the best of the Xmas specials, but it's lots of fun. I like the ending with the Doctor and Mr. Copper. Damn shame Clive Swift is an utter beep. Let's have a look. Silent Nerd C137. I love this episode. It manages to be a dark Christmas disaster, but also feel upbeat and leaves you feeling happy and content. Doctor's speech sends chills down my spine every time I hear it. 9.5. Theta Sigma podcast says, by a country mile, the best Christmas special to date. Tennant on top form, brilliant supporting cast, and one of the best retellings of the Poseidon adventure ever. A straight 5 for 5 or 10 for 10 if you prefer, but this was the perfect episode for me.
Another 10 out of 10, okay.
Very cool. Whale G09 says, it's the only Doctor Who Christmas special that I think is great. Tennant and Kylie, what's not to love? Also, without this episode, we wouldn't have had the pleasure of the Clive Swift interview.
Another one, yay.
What else have we got on Twitter? I think that's it for Twitter. And there's one more. No, that was it. That was it for Twitter. Let's do another audio clip. This is George Buddy.
Hello, Garen Adams. So, Voyage of the Damned. I haven't watched this one in absolutely ages. This introduces the new Doctor Who title music that was used right up until the end of time, which is one of my favourites. I really love it. I love Tennant's costume in this one. Not only does he look great in the tux, but I really like the blue suit variant that we get right at the start. This episode has a wonderful array of characters. This episode introduces the first appearance of Wilf, although it is brief. I love the host as a monster, and they are actually quite creepy. Kylie Minogue's in this episode, and she's not actually that bad. She's quite good as Astrid. That speech from Tennant is one of the best he's ever done. I really loved that speech. Max Capricorn's underwhelming as the big bad, though. I'd rather that it was something else, because he's very underwhelming as the control of the host. Astrid's death is a bit emotional, but it is a bit overplayed myself. We get hints of the Time Lord victorious, like when the Doctor's trying to send Astrid back, get Astrid back, he says, I can do anything, and then when Mr. Copper says that it's good that you can't control life or death, and we get the Series 4 trailer at the end, which is really good. I really love this episode as a Christmas special, and an episode 8.5 out of 10. See you guys next week.
8.5.
Excellent, yes, and thanks for reminding me about the blue suit, because I also love the blue suit variant.
Oh,
I think Tennant looks great in the blue suit, yeah.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool, actually. Let's do another audio clip. This is Loopy Loo.
Security Protocol 1.
Information.
Brilliant. Love it. 9 out of 10.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet, to the point, yeah. Yeah, she loved it.
Nice one, Lou. Last audio clip. This is Lewis Palmer.
Hello to the Big Blue Box podcast. Voyage of the Damned. Yeah, I think I like this one. I've always sort of thought of it as... I always sort of thought I liked it less than I did. But on this recent rewatch, I Yeah, I quite enjoyed it. It's quite fun. Banner Cavalata is a good character, definitely memorable. Kylie's pretty good in it. I actually really like Astrid a lot. It's always quite sad when she dies, to be honest, because it's she's quite a good character. I would have liked to see her recur. Maybe, I don't know. I think my main problem with it is it's a bit forgettable. Yeah, it's good, I would say. We get our first appearance of Wilf, though. So that's just an immediate plus, because, Bernard Cribbins. Yeah, pretty good. The villain, though, Max Capricorn. Bit slightly cringy. He's a weird villain, but he's okay, I guess. It's the teeth with the twinkly tooth. I don't know. Yeah, it's okay. Probably like a 6.5 out of 10. Decent watch, I'd say. Decent Christmas special. See you next time, guys.
Cool.
Nice one. Cheers, Lewis.
Thank you very much, buddy. That's all the audio clips. We got a few through on Facebook, so I'm going to rattle through those. Jeff Waddle says it's often the poorest episodes that make the best podcast, so I'm looking forward to this week's because it's probably going to be the best one yet. Put me right off Sprouts, this did. Bannerama, indeed. 1 out of 10. It's like Nightmare in Silver with fairy lights. Woeful.
Oh, God. Jeff's not a fan.
Jeff is livid about this.
Of his Sprouts,
yeah. Miles McKenzie said, I find this episode entertaining, loved the way it started and the chemistry between the characters, and genuinely felt sad when the couple die, and shed a tear for Banner Cavalata. It goes on to give it a 7 out of 10. My 5th favourite Christmas special, apparently.
Oh, 5th. Oh, yeah. Right.
Wow. Rob Kernick says, funnily enough, watched this before listening to last week's podcast. High energy, action packed adventure with many tears streaming down my face, especially for Banner Cavalata. Tennant is really fantastic in this one. Loved all the characters. 9.5.
9.5.
Jason Thayer, I'm not a fan of this one. I think it's too dark for Christmas. I understand why it was needed, and it was a huge impact on both Series 4 and the specials, but I still don't like it. 5 out of 10.
Oh.
Danny Brown, Doctor Who, does disaster movie. Brilliant action-filled adventure with a good cast and nice music. 8 out of 10. Jamie Ackley just says, dreadful, so worried that Kylie would become a recurring irritant. So favourite scene is the forklift truck scene. Ah, dear.
Harsh.
George Copper, my favourite Xmas special. 10 out of 10. David Madley, I love this take on a classic disaster story. Great cast and loved Kylie. Joseph Howarth says, God, this Christmas special left a bad taste upon seeing this one. It's a very long message from Joseph, so I won't go into all of it, but he gives it a 4 out of 10. And Paul Villano made a comment on the graphic used for the promo. Apparently there was an interesting position of Kylie with Tennant in one of the promos, but
really?
It's not subject for the podcast.
Right.
That's it for the official stuff. Did you get anything through on the Geek's Handbag?
I did, mate, yes. Dean Jones left me a very nice long review. Basically, he thinks it's a solid story, and he gave it an 8 out of 10. Thank you, Dean. Bradley Willard thinks it's quite underrated. Thought that the only thing that really lets it down is the villain, Max. He gave it 7 out of 10.
Oh.
Patrick Sherwood says it's his favourite Doctor Who Christmas special. He absolutely loves it. He gives it 1,000 out of 1,000.
Whoa.
Wow, he loves it so much. Kevin Mullen left me a lovely long review. He says it's a half-decent story. Again, thought Max was a waste of space, he says. But he gives it a 9 out of 10. He thinks it's blimmin' marvellous. Lee Collins, David at his very best. He says he misses him as the Doctor so much. Mark Daniel Mooney says it's an action-packed Christmas special, so he really likes it. Charlie Turner, he says basically it's a bit average, but he says it's a very solid 7 out of 10, but he thinks it's a rehash of Robots of Death.
Okay.
Zach Jenkins, worst thing about it is Kylie's acting. Oh, no. And Anthony Stone Street simply says, burn it.
Oh.
So not a fan. Quite mixed, actually, isn't it? Quite mixed. It got a lot of love and also not so much love.
Yes, I was expecting that because I'd spoken to obviously people over the years who said it was dreadful and couldn't stand it, but then spoke to other people who love it. So I wouldn't say it's a Marmite story, but it's definitely mixed.
Yeah, definitely a mixed bag. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys, for getting in contact and giving us your thoughts on that one. Next week, we're back to Classic Who. So next week, buddy, What we got?
I'm looking forward to this. So Hartnell next week, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you think of this one, mate. So we are reviewing
The Edge of Destruction.
Edge of Destruction, yes. For some reason, I couldn't think what it's called. I was about to say Inside the Spaceship, and I was thinking, no, that's not it.
That's the unofficial title.
That's the unofficial title,
yeah.
So The Edge of Destruction. I can't wait to hear what you think of that one.
Yes.
Yeah, kitchen knife scene, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to a bit of Hartnell next week.
Yes, cheeky little two-parter, that one.
Yes, cheeky little two-parter.
Yeah, not too bad. So there we go. And I think we're going to do there for 167.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for sticking with us for 167 and enjoying the subtle, comforting tones of our voices for an hour and a half. Talking through Who, some cool news bits, really ramping up now for Twice Upon a Time.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be awesome sauce all round, I think, that one.
It is.
Yes, indeed. Next week, The Edge of Destruction, that Adam always remembers clearly.
Inside the Spaceship.
So get your DVDs out for that. We're asking for your reviews. And next week, we're going to give you some deets on what we're up to over Christmas, because Adam and I are away and doing various things. So next week, we'll let you know when the podcast is on, when it's not, and when we're back and all that jazz. So in the meantime...
What the score is.
What the score is, yeah. In the meantime, head over to the website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to all of our previous eps on there. And you can also link from there all to the social stuff. So give us a like and a follow on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. That would be cool. You can also subscribe to the podcast in iTunes if you're an iTunes listener. If you could give us a review and a rating, that would be awesome, because that really helps us. Or you could subscribe on any other podcast network if that takes your fancy. We're on all of the other main ones. So just do a search for Big Blue Box Podcast. And be a joy to have you as a subscriber. You'll never miss a show. They go out every Friday.
Without fail.
Without fail. Also, check out Adam's channel. He has a YouTube channel called The Geeks
Handbag.
Where he comes at you from somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Does plenty of geekery over there. Unboxings, reviews, convention roundups, on-the-spot reviews, thoughts, the whole bleeding lot. It's all over there. But seriously, go and subscribe. So just do a search for The Geeks Handbag on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the norms.
Everywhere.
He's on there. So next week, looking forward to a bit of classic Who. It's going to be good. So we'll ask you reviews on that. In the meantime, have a cracking week. And until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember...
Alonso.